Hello, beautiful survivors. How are you? I'm Karina, the host and creator behind Stroke Surviving the Odds, the podcast. And the show's mission is moving forward past the events of the stroke and seeing that there is so much life to live after the event. It is time for you to reclaim your life, your identity, maybe your new identity, but everything. If I can do it, if Captain here, Tristan is here today. It's because it can be done. Okay, guys? So that is the mission. I want you guys to know that I suffered a brainstem dissection 27 years ago. I suffered also coma interlocked syndrome, but evidently I am here, not without any afterthought and aftermath of the stroke, but I am here. Okay, guys? So I want you to feel at home with me and my guest. And this is what we both want. This is where we clicked, is our mission is very much aligned. And it's you guys. It's you guys. I want you guys to know that we have audio podcast on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. That is published a couple of times a week. But I have a video podcast. So once a week, I have a guest that is going to share their outlook and their outcomes. So today is not going to be any different. I'm sure that you have seen on social media, on many platforms, if not all of them, Tristan, Captain Orangutan.
You got that right on the dot. Good job. Hell yeah.
Okay. And well, my very first thing to say is welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome,
sweetheart.
Tristan. I'm going to call you Tristan. I absolutely love your name.
Thank
But
you.
I'm dying to find out where you got the nickname.
So I the first coach that I hired in the health aspects, the holistic coach, his name is Captain Taylor Morgan. And his whole coaching was the captain's lifestyle. And so I've always been a jokester, growing up being a ginger, getting bullied for my hair. I started calling myself the orangutan guy. And then graduating from the captain's lifestyle, it was a running joke the entire time that I was an orangutan man. And so I became Captain Orangutan when I
That
graduated.
makes perfect sense, Tristan. That makes
Yes, ma'am.
perfect sense. And I just got your email. And in your email, you have the word duck in it.
Yeah.
And I'm just figuring out that you love to be in nature and outdoors and all that. And
I never connected the two. I use the duck email because it removes a lot of trackers and stuff. And
okay,
so, yeah,
okay.
hell yeah, that's interesting.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. So, how about you start off by telling us a little bit about you? And I'm so excited to hear the moving forward because you have some strategies and techniques that is out of this world. So let's start with your story.
Yeah, thank you. So I experienced a lot of medical malpractice at the end of 2019. That caused brainstem stroke, ruined my old life, and I was essentially reborn. Lived with crippling depression, anxiety, and severe limitations from the stroke for over 2.5 years. If you notice, I'm speaking normal, as people say. It wasn't like this until 2, 3 years after the stroke. I struggled to speak. I struggled to form my thoughts. And
Okay.
now I enjoy speaking fast because it reminds me of where I was, if that makes sense. So please forgive me
Yeah.
if I do speak too fast, okay? Um, I had a lot of limitations from the stroke for over 2.5 years, and I thought that it would be that way because that's what the doctors told me. First, they told me I would never recover, I would never walk, talk, or function again,
Mm-hmm.
and that I would likely be a vegetable if I survived.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I made a fantastic recovery by getting basic function on my left side back, they said
I
that's all I
love
would
that
be able
you
to do.
talk in quotes because I do that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I
So,
love it. I love it.
yeah, when I made the fantastic recovery and got basic function on my left side back, they said I wouldn't be able to do anymore. So I lived with that. And then I realized 2.5 years later that our bodies are designed to heal. Your body is designed to heal. the only thing that's missing is you're not giving it what it needs in order to heal better, to make better cells and more
Mm.
BDNF.
Okay.
And yeah.
Give me a sec. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of today, I want to know who was Tristan before the stroke, because you said you had a lot of medical malpractice
Mm-hmm.
towards yourself, or I know very little of you before the stroke. Can you tell us who you are?
Before the stroke, I was a very damaged and narcissistic and self-sabotaging young man.
Wow.
I experienced a lot of abuse in my childhood. I haven't seen the man that was supposed to be my dad in almost 17 years. I'll be
Okay.
27 in March, and yeah, very very interesting childhood. I had a room for a lot of character development when I was younger, and I didn't take advantage of that until after I started my self improvement journey, my health journey, and all that stuff in the
Okay.
middle of 2022.
That's why you say that the stroke gave you this rebirth to become
Yeah,
who
so
you've
well,
been supposed to be.
I say that for a couple reasons. One, because it felt like I literally did become reborn. I felt like a different soul inside this body when I became conscious. You know, I was a college
Mhm.
soccer athlete, and then became conscious to this body that didn't work, and this mind that didn't even know how to think really. You know,
Hmm.
I couldn't really talk, couldn't walk, couldn't use my left side. I had trouble forming thoughts, and to be honest, I thought that I was in some form of purgatory, waiting to get into heaven or hell. And I had
Ooh, what
multiple,
interesting
yeah,
analogy, man.
I had multiple voices in my head that told me to take my life every single day because everything that I had worked for my entire life was gone.
I
And
just got chills, man. I
yeah,
just got chills.
yeah, and the thing that saved my life, and let me preface this by saying, you can believe what you want to believe. I will believe what I want to believe. I
Yes.
respect you no less. I have more respect for you for believing what you want to believe, even if we disagree, and still accepting me for believing what I want to believe. Anyways,
Exactly. Yes.
I
Amen.
went to a, I went to a Christian Baptist college or a Southern Baptist college, and they pushed me away from God and religion. I was an atheist.
Okay.
With all those voices in my head, I wanted to take my life. One night, I was so close to getting up and grabbing a gun and just biting the bullet. Except I didn't know where I would end up, and I was scared. And so I reached out. I said, before I go, I want to see if God is real. You know, just let me see. So I
Yes.
gave everything up to God. I gave all of the pain, every negative emotion that I felt, gave it up to God. And I
Wow.
decided to wait a couple days. And during those couple days, something happened that made me realize that I stayed alive so I can help others who are going through something similar. And then I was like, okay, well, why the hell am I still here then? Like, how can I do that? And the answer didn't come until 2.5 years later. So, yeah, I lived
So
with
at
a.
this point, so the way you were feeling, the dark thoughts that you had
Mhm.
were before the stroke, after, immediately
They
after when.
they came immediately after when I started becoming conscious because so this just clicked in my head. All those negative voices that were in my head, they all came from that man who abused me for most of my childhood. They
Yep.
were echoes of that man's voice in my head, and I didn't realize that until now. Um, and I, if you want to get those dark voices out of your head, I have a free walkthrough on my YouTube. It's called my dark quiet room method. Thoughts and emotions are energy in motion. When you keep
Mm-hmm.
those from being in motion, they start building up, and that
Yeah.
energy builds up in your body. It creates chronic stress, can cause chronic health issues, and when you let the energy be in motion as it's supposed to be, then you will feel lighter. No matter how damaging, no matter how dark the thoughts are,
Oh my
if you sit in
God.
a I call it my dark quiet room method for a reason because when you sit in a dark, absolutely quiet room, or if you make it as quiet as possible, dark as possible, even with eye
Mm-hmm.
mask or
Goggles.
earplugs, yeah. When you let those thoughts in your head, you'll realize that they have no power. They're just thoughts. They just want to be noticed, and then they'll be gone. That was a powerful, freeing thing that I did in my journey because I thought those thoughts were mine, and
And they weren't.
I thought that self hatred was mine, and it wasn't. I
No,
was
it didn't
programmed to
belong
believe
to
that
you.
stuff.
No,
Exactly.
it was thrown at you. I
Exactly.
love that you're addressing this, Tristan, because a lot of what I talk about, because that's another thing we have in common, is a very heavy childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And we grew a lot knowing that what was imposed on us did not belong to us.
Yep.
And we were the consequences of other people's problems. So, was it painful for you? Were
Was
you
what painful for
scared?
me?
The healing, because I think you've done a lot of healing in the last 2 years.
Yeah, the past 3.5 years actually. Um, yes and no. Certain parts were very energizing, certain parts were freeing, other parts felt like a mountain that I had to climb, and the climb up the mountain felt like stepping on molten lava or broken glass while I'm on the way up there, and then on the way down, it felt like a water slide
Yeah.
that was filled with candy. I don't know.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
beautiful! Like, I love how you give us pictures in your feelings and the way you felt and the
Mm-hmm.
way you're feeling still, and so am I. It allows other people to realize that they're not alone, and that if you surmounted those dark thoughts and those hills of glass, of charred glass, and
Mm-hmm.
you came out of it a winner, it gives a hope to other people that they can also do it.
Absolutely.
So
So
that's
go ahead.
amazing and really good, Tristan. Really, really good. I'm proud of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Karina. So one thing that one of the coaches that I paid taught me, he said, action dispels overwhelm. When you feel overwhelmed, the best thing you can do is take action. So
Hallelujah.
after a stroke, we often feel overwhelmed with everything that we just experienced, with everything that we are told from doctors or therapists or whatever other medical professionals.
Yes.
Um, we're often overwhelmed with the new reality that we have to live with or that we get to live with. We'll get to the language changes here shortly.
Yeah.
Um, when you take action, especially if it's improving your health or helping yourself feel better in some way, hopefully not instant gratification. Hopefully it's something like delayed gratification if possible,
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
like cold exposure or exercising if possible. Um, you will feel less overwhelmed. You will feel more relaxed and at ease.
Did you guys hear what Tristan said and what his captain coach said? Action. You want to get out of a dark spot. You want to get out of a rut. You want to get out of a simple depressive state when you get up in the morning and you look at the ceiling and you just don't want to move.
Yep.
Just getting out of bed and going to the bathroom is moving your body. And that moving, oh, you're going to go in the kitchen and get a coffee. Oh, you're going to put the dog out. You're going to take the dog out. Action wakes you up completely.
Action dispels overwhelm. And on top of your point, Karina, if you go to the bathroom the first thing in the morning and you sit on the toilet or whatever, do your toilet time, and then you hop in a cold shower, I am telling you right now, the depression, the anxiety that you feel will completely evaporate because
All right. Tell us about the cold baths and cold shower, because you are becoming known for that on your social media and you're a big advocate. So tell us about the benefits and how just to go at it, because it's scary at the beginning. It's like it's cold.
Yep. So I will go ahead and say I am not an expert. I will never claim to be an expert at anything because stereotypical experts claim to
Mm-hmm.
know everything about a certain topic. I have committed myself to lifelong learning. So let me
Oh,
get that out of the way.
love it.
Um, so I'm always willing to be proven wrong as long as it's like factual,
Mm-hmm.
and I will accept it as long as it's factual. As long as I'm proven wrong.
Absolutely.
From what I've found and what I've experienced, though, cold exposure, first off, is different for men and women. Women, y'all are on a 28-day hormonal cycle. We are on a 24-hour hormonal cycle. So we can take a cold shower first thing in the morning every morning. However, I've heard it's best for y'all to sync it with your menstrual cycle. Now,
Okay.
granted, I've learned very little about that, and I have resources in my coaching. I can send them to you as well, Karina, so you can share them with your
Okay,
listeners.
great.
Um, it's interesting though. Cold exposure, increased metabolism, more energy. It's a great wake up call, better than anything else. More confidence because you face one of the toughest things that you'll do all day first thing in the morning. I used to have a lot of road rage. All right, I used to be very quick to anger.
Okay.
However, cold water first thing in the morning, it put out the flame to my gingerness, if that makes sense. And
Yes.
so yeah, so I became a lot more mellow.
Gingerness.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
it.
I became a lot more mellow. I became a lot more calm. It's it is, in my opinion, the best natural antidepressants ever made. You know, I'm a full believer that God has made everything that we need in order to live, to thrive, to heal,
Yep.
because our bodies are made to heal, no matter what we're told by whoever. And yeah, um, touching on the ice bath thing.
What just went into your brain right now? I have to ask you because you had a little giggle and I could see
That's
your
what I'm
brain
getting
was
onto.
going.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Do
about
you
to
want to
share.
share with us
Yep.
what you were
So,
thinking about?
the first ever ice bath I took was at the Captain's Lifestyle Immersion up in Minnesota.
Okay.
And we took an ice bath first thing in the morning, every morning for the 5 days that we were there. On the fifth day, Taylor handed us a bamboo straw.
Okay.
The water was like 32 degrees. He said, "Okay, boys, we're going to submerge and we're going to breathe through the straws." Karina,
Oh my God.
when I tell you, I stayed under for 2 or 3 minutes breathing through that straw. When I got out, my blood pressure had tanked. Okay, the guys helped me walk into the sauna, and when I got into the sauna, I felt this bliss. And I looked at the floor. I had my head in my hands, my elbow on my knees, and I said, "I finally love myself." And I burst out crying.
Wow.
And the guys in the sauna all celebrated with me. And oh man, I still get chills thinking of that time. It was beautiful. Yeah, that was a tangent, and
What a
that wanted
nice
to be said.
memory. And
Yeah,
thank you for sharing with us.
of course.
That's when you woke up and you said, I love myself.
Yep.
Wow. From the dark guy, the self, you were saying bad stuff about yourself because
Self-sabotaging,
of
self.
other words,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people. And now you're in love with yourself.
That
You
was my rite
realize
of passage into manhood.
interesting. Now,
Yeah.
about, well, I think you were already a man, but because of that self-sabotage that you were doing, you were delaying your growth. You were
I was a
delaying.
man by age. I was not a man by mental, if that makes sense, or by how I was, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Makes
So yeah.
perfect sense. Yeah, absolutely. And wow, and being a stroke survivor and doing that, like, I would think that a lot of other people would think their heart is going to stop or they can't
Mm-hmm.
take it. Was
I get a
that
lot of
something
pushback on
you
that.
thought?
Nope. Because I had been taking a cold shower first thing in the morning since late December of 2022, and that first immersion was beginning of May 2023. And I learned about cold exposure going through Taylor's coaching. I
Yes.
have information I learned from that and information I learned on my own in my own coaching. Um, we're if you're on blood pressure meds, it would be better to avoid extreme cold exposure. I have
Okay.
no clue about like light cold exposure. Not like turning the water all the way cold in the shower. However, maybe turning the heat down, taking a cool shower instead of a hot shower.
Okay.
Um, Now, that is not a recommendation. That is not me telling you to do that stuff. That is me giving you an
Got it.
idea to research into, okay?
Yeah.
Because the first thing I say in my coaching is that none of this stuff is factual. None of this stuff is like 100% guaranteed to work for everybody. I encourage my clients to get creative thinking about what they think could help them, you know, and I'll help them do research too. If something doesn't work in the program, then we'll try to find something else. However, so far, everything that is in my coaching has worked for my clients.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, yes. So basically, you're saying maybe not go from warm
Mm-hmm.
to a super cold shower at -40
Mm-hmm.
right away. Just gradually go about it.
Yeah.
And what
And
does it
when you
do to
start
the
off taking cold
body?
showers, let me say, when you start off taking cold showers, the way I started and the way that is usually recommended is finish your hot shower with cold water
Okay.
for 5, 10, 20 seconds, and then extend the amount of time that you have the cold water on, and eventually lessen the amount of time that you have the warm water on until you're taking full-blown cold showers, like I have been for damn near 3 years.
And you have great skin.
Thank you, beautiful.
And you have great skin. And what other, like, do you combine methods of the cold shower, and like what are, for stroke survivors, what would be, let's say, the top 5 things to do to help your rehabilitation?
So cold exposure, I believe, stimulates your vagus nerve. And what I remember of your vagus nerve is it's a nerve that goes a majority of the
Mm-hmm.
way through your body. Okay. And so the vagus nerve, when you stimulate it, it can have, oh, God bless, it's leaving my mind now. It can have
Mm-hmm.
some kind of healing benefits or some kind of repair benefits. It can help, I believe it can help boost BDNF, if I'm correct. And BDNF is a molecule or protein that your brain makes that increases neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is important for helping your brain reconnect to your affected side.
I'm
And
gonna write this down because it's really, really
yeah, that's a center point in my coaching. And it was a center point in my coaching before I even knew about BDNF. And it made
okay.
sense as to why my stuff worked. So BDNF increases, or the more BDNF you have, the more neuroplasticity you have. The
Okay.
more neuroplasticity you have, the more your brain can rewire connections to it, reconnect with your affected side. In my case, when I improved my diet from mostly ultra processed foods, I was addicted to sour fruit or sour candies, sweet candies, Cokes, stuff like that. When I dropped all that stuff and started eating and drinking natural foods with similar flavor profiles, I lost 30 pounds of fat in 3 months. I gained more function in my in my left side without doing any kind of exercise. The only
Okay.
thing I did was change my diet. I had more energy, had more function in my left side. I felt better than ever. And that's because, from what I've found, from what I've experienced, simply eating a natural diet can help increase BDNF. It can help increase cell quality in your body, and higher quality cells leads to better healing, more
Of
recovery.
course. Of
Yeah.
course.
And so that's why a center point in my messaging and my content is help your body make better cells and more BDNF, because neuroplasticity mixed with better
Get it.
cells means a whole new post-stroke body. Like, people tell me quite regularly that they didn't even notice I had a stroke, or if they had a stroke, they'll notice like my left eye is droopy a little bit, or like my left side has less muscle mass. Other than that, though, people tell me like, dude, you look like you haven't even had a stroke, and I'm like, thank you. I mean, cool, thank you.
You work
Because
hard at it.
yeah, it. We're told that stroke recovery is so difficult that we will never recover from the stroke, that we'll be a vegetable, or we'll never walk, talk, or function again. And that's just a
Mm-hmm,
load of
mm-hmm.
that is some. How censored do you want me to be?
You don't have to be censored at all.
Okay,
I
cool.
want you to speak
Yeah,
your truth. Say it
cool.
as
Thank
it
you.
is.
So what we're told after having a stroke, like you'll never walk, talk, or function again. You'll be a vegetable. Yada yada yada. It's a load of bullshit. Like,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like I say in my content quite regularly, doctors, therapists, nurses, they only know what they learned in school. And
Yeah.
how do we know that what they learned is even correct?
Yeah.
Did they learn about health, or did they learn about pharmacology? Did they learn about healing, or did they learn about prescribing?
Mm.
And
Interesting. Yeah.
I may lose some people with that, and that's okay. That's what I've found. That's what I've experienced. And your body is designed to heal, no
Yeah.
matter what anybody says. And that old saying, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. If you think that you can't recover from the stroke, you won't
You're
recover
right.
from the stroke,
Exact
because
mindset. Mindset.
your mind places that limitation on your body, and your body
Mm-hmm.
carries that. Okay. When you start changing how you feel, how you view yourself, how you view your stroke, or your stroke experience, your post-stroke life, how you view your recovery potential, your chances of recovery, when you change all that and improve it, then your body's able to start using the things that you're trying to do to help it heal better by
Mm.
making more BDNF and higher quality cells. It's like on the first group meeting, my stroke recovery coaching group, I had the two people that were on that one, had them write down, what if I will never recover from the stroke?
Yes.
And one of the guys, he was like, I don't like this question because, I view if as like the work of the devil and yada, yada, yada. I just don't accept it. Okay,
Yes.
well, remove one word, remove never. And it turned into what if I will recover from the stroke?
Ah.
And his whole demeanor changed. I posted that video yesterday, I believe, and his whole demeanor changed. And the story that you tell yourself about
Yep.
your stroke experience, about your stroke potential or your recovery potential, that plays such a big part in your recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. It's
Yep.
as simple as that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I say that, and I'm happy to hear you say that because sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
think that I mean or I sound condescending or mean, but I believe that also. I believe that if you think you can't, you can't. Because
Yep.
you're stopping yourself before even trying.
I mean, that's like whenever I'm talking with leads and potential clients, if they tell me, I just don't think that your stuff is going to work for me, I was like, cool, then it won't. If you think it won't work, then it's not going to work. That's as
Yep,
simple as that. Like,
absolutely.
I used to try to prove myself to these people, and I've stopped. Like, if you don't even want to try it, if you think it's not going to work, cool,
Yeah,
not going to
you
work.
know, I believe in you do you, I do me,
Mm-hmm.
and
Exactly.
I personally march at the beat of my own drum. I
Yep.
don't care what other people say. I know what my truth is. I know my benefits.
Yep.
Again, the goal of the show and the goal of me, and I think you too, is that if we can do it, others can too. And
It's
we
like that.
only offer.
There's an audio on TikTok and Instagram that says, "If I can do it, then why can't you?"
Mhm.
I use that regularly, and it's true.
Yeah.
Like, if someone like you, Karina, or
Mhm.
myself can recover from a stroke, then in my opinion, anybody can recover from a stroke. Anybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how is it that when people tell you, oh, you don't look like you had a stroke, at the beginning you say thank you, but I worked damn hard, like you really feel that
Yeah.
I worked damn hard to be here.
And it almost seems like sometimes it seems like a backhanded comment. Like, oh, well, you don't look like you had a stroke. Are you lying to me? Yada, yada, yada. It's like,
That's how sometimes it feels. Again, it
mm-hmm.
depends who says it.
Yep.
It depends who says it, but a lot of people are not naive, but they a lot of people I realize I like to think that people are good in general until they
Mm-hmm.
prove otherwise,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And I think that people that tell us that we don't look like we had a stroke, the first thought that's going to come to my mind is not that. Are they bullshitting me?
Mm-hmm.
But the thought that I'm going to have is that they're ignorant. They don't know. They don't know better until I tell them.
Yep.
Like, tell me if it's like that with you. Like, because we look how we look, and because you're very well spoken. I think of myself as getting there.
You are very well spoken. Give
Okay,
yourself more credit.
I think I am, and I'm only beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people judge the book by its cover because they see us as we are. People see your videos with your shirt off. You're
Mm-hmm.
not buff, but you're definitely in shape. And people say, "Hey, man, you got abs and all that," and they don't see. Are you physically impaired? Do you
Mm-hmm.
have physical limitations?
Mm-hmm. Well, so to backtrack a little bit,
Yeah.
when I went through Taylor's coaching, my hormones and everything was fully optimized. And then I got hit with a candida overgrowth in my gut. And I've been working on improving that for the past 2.5 years or so. That
Oh,
ruined
the candidate,
that
right?
candida, yes. That ruined my hormonal health, my gut health for a long time. And I'm just on the I've been working on improving it. It has been getting better, and I just ordered something that claims to help with that. Anyways,
Tell me about that. I want to know. Tell me.
candida.
Well, I want to know. I'm going to read up on that because I don't want to take too much time on that, but I'm going to read. But if you find something that could help remedy that, please let me know. I think
Oh, I
that
can send you
that's,
what I ordered because candida is a fungus or a something
yes,
that is already in our bodies. However, when it gets out of balance, when it
yeah,
starts getting too abundant, then it can really, really, really fuck up our hormonal health, our energy, our cognition, everything. And
okay.
I got hit really hard with that, and I'm just now getting to where it's better. Um, anyways, so I
So,
used
so what are
I
you
was
doing?
more
I'm
fit.
sorry, I gotta
No, you're
know
good.
what
What's
other
up?
than you stop your candies, you stop your sour candies, your
So
nutrition
no. So
change.
I didn't get hit with the candida overgrowth until end of 2023, maybe mid 2024.
Okay.
And that was a whole year and a half of, or after I started my health optimization. The thing that caused the candida overgrowth, I believe, was when I was getting spring water and I put lemon juice in the spring water in the jug. I didn't know that it molded after a while sitting in the jug. And
I
so I was
didn't know
drinking,
that.
I drank moldy water for like a week. And then that just became overabundant in my gut. And, you know,
Oh
I've been,
shit.
yeah, so be aware of that because that, that was a very awesome present that I gave myself.
Oh my
So,
God, I did
yeah,
not know.
yeah.
Were you sick?
Not sick. I had so candida can show up in different ways. For me, it was a lot of mold in my
Okay.
bowel movements.
Okay.
Yeah, that was interesting. And my energy levels just tanked. My energy levels, my testosterone levels, all that stuff just tanked. And then that's one reason why I have this man boob here that I'm working to correct. Um, yeah, it's interesting to say the least.
Wow,
So,
wow,
yeah.
you really I knew I would love talking with you, and I
Mm-hmm.
think you bring a lot of different knowledge and like I said
Mm-hmm.
strategies and whatnot to think. I seriously take I'm taking notes here, so I think it's great.
Oh
And
yeah.
before you started working on it, did you
Mm-hmm.
find, because a lot of stroke survivors have gained weight after
Mm-hmm.
the stroke
Oh
for a
yeah.
lack of movement, for lack of
Mm-hmm.
movement, lack of bowel movement, because we don't move as much.
Yep.
So, do you think your candida was activated by also not being as active?
No. So first off, we're told that weight loss is difficult as well. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. Like
Mhm.
I said, well, I had about 10 to 15% body fat my entire life. I always ran, played soccer, very active, very fit.
Yeah.
After the stroke and surgeries and everything, well, during the majority of the surgeries, I lost 50 pounds of muscle in from mid-September to beginning of November. Okay, I went from being physically fit, muscular, to skin and bone. And then I ate the same diet that I was raised on, which is the standard American diet, ultra processed foods,
Wait.
not focused on quality, nutrition, stuff like that. And I gained all of that weight back in fat.
Okay.
And I was nowhere near obese or fat by
Uh-huh.
medical standards. However, I felt fat because I
Yes.
went from being in a fit and lean body to having more fat on my body than ever before. And
Absolutely.
so I lived with that for 2.5 years, and then I changed my diet, and I lost 30 pounds of fat in 3 months, and I had more energy than ever. So
There's
simply,
hope. There's hope for
there is
all
hope.
of us.
Simply changing your seriously, simply changing your diet from the ultra processed foods, the candies, stuff like that, and the sodas, to
Mhm.
natural foods with similar flavor profiles. That is the simplest and, in my opinion, the most effective diet weight loss thing that you can do because it's sustainable. You're still getting all of your flavor profiles met, and you're giving your body what it needs in order to make better cells and shred the fat. Because the extra fat that you have on your body is not
It's
from
energy.
eating. You said what?
No, she could.
Yeah, so
I listen.
it's not from eating fat, okay? Eating fat does not make you fat because your brain needs fat, your heart needs fat, your vital organs need at least a little bit of fat in order to function. It's from the toxins that are in the ultra processed foods, the chemical ingredients that your body does not know what to do with. It's got a self preservation mechanism in it, so it separates the toxins from the vital organs by putting it in those fat cells. And whenever you cut out the toxins that you're eating, then your body's able to remove those. And when your body removes those, you will likely shed that fat relatively quickly. Like I said, I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. That's 10 pounds a
I
month.
love it, Tristan, because 69% of my listeners are American. And you're American, and I love what you just said. You ate the typical American diet before,
Yeah, it's
and I
the
think
sad
it's
diet.
important. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like even like when I lost that 30 pounds, I didn't even focus on organic or anything. I just simply swapped the candies, the ultra processed foods for natural foods.
Okay.
And there's an added benefit with that because my body was making better cells, more
Mm-hmm.
BDNF, and I didn't know this
Mm-hmm.
at the time. However, I had more function, more energy, and all that stuff in my left side from just doing that because my
Okay.
body was able to heal more, to repair more, and my brain was able to connect to that side more. So when you
Okay.
eat healthier, your body makes better cells, your brain makes more BDNF, which leads to more healing and more ability to reconnect to your affected side, more
Perfect.
function.
Wow, wow, wow. That's a big life changer right there. Now, can we talk about something? Because I'm rewinding to what you said. I'm going back to what you had mentioned before, that you found your purpose because you were wondering, okay, what is my purpose? Right? At
Oh,
one
when I had all
point,
those voices in my head?
when you had all those voices in your head,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I didn't want to say it, but
Yeah, you're
yes,
good. You
and
can
you
call it
were
however you see it, okay?
and you were wondering what's your purpose? Why are you here? So, how did you come across to finding and have you found your purpose?
So, one big thing is, first off, like I said, I became an atheist because of the being pushed away from God and religion from the Southern Baptist College. Um, and then like I said, I was scared of where I would end up if I did end up biting the bullet. So I reached out to God. I gave all of the negative emotions, all of the negative thoughts, and all that stuff up to God. And I blamed God. I cussed at God. I projected all of that stuff onto God or the creator or whatever you want to call it. And I said I would wait a couple days to see what would happen. I wanted to see if God was real. And within those couple days, something happened. I forgot what it was. I realized that I was kept alive, or I went through everything so that I could help others going through something similar. Okay. With that being said, at that time, I asked myself, why me? Why
Okay.
me? The poor, pitiful me, okay? I started asking myself, why not me? Why wouldn't it be me who goes through all this stuff? Why wouldn't it be me who gets to go through all of this and have my whole life
Oh
ruined?
my
And
God, I just got chills again.
yeah, so why wouldn't it be me who gets to have all of those brain surgeries, all of the traumatic things that happen to my body, and have my college athletic career and abilities and all that stuff ruined? Why wouldn't it be me?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it would have been one of my family members, you bet your ass I would have wished it was me. You bet your ass I would have. So it was me, so I didn't have to do that. And two, because the potential was that I could overcome all that stuff and help others. The reason was because I could become a shining light for people like myself and like yourself, because people who had a stroke, there's very little real support there. Like, yeah, there's mental support, there's emotional support, there's very little actual like real help there though, outside of the medical system. And I view the medical system as trying to get your body to heal from the outside in. When your body's not designed to heal from the outside in, it's designed to heal from the inside out. Yeah. And so when you help your body make better cells and more BDNF, which is what my coaching focuses on, your body will actually heal more, which will boost your recovery. And you will get back to, well, you will have a better chance of getting back to your life and making your life better than ever because your pre-stroke life was a draft. It wasn't a final draft. It was a
Nope.
rough draft.
If I may, I love, again, we say the same thing in different ways. God's plan A is our plan B,
Mm-hmm.
right? The first
Absolutely.
draft was our post life. And the second draft is, no, it was our pre, and our second
Mm-hmm.
draft is post. But
Yeah,
God had a plan all along.
absolutely. And
And when did you, before you go, I'm so sorry I'm cutting you off.
you are
The
completely
why
fine.
me, When did you realize, when were you asking yourself, why me? Were you in the hospital still, or were you out?
When my body was in the hospital, I like to say that my consciousness was in the dark, quiet abyss or void.
Okay.
I remember I was in this, I was like suspended in this void that had absolutely nothing. It was pure bliss and peace. And then I became conscious in this body, and then I started asking, why me?
Yes.
When I stopped asking why me was when I realized the reason why I was chosen to stay alive. And I
Mhm.
started asking why not me, because I was like, well, if I'm gonna stay alive, I'm gonna fucking figure out like why, like why not me? And
Yep.
then, when you ask yourself this question, your mind, your subconscious automatically starts working on trying to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you stop trying to like consciously come up with an answer and you let your subconscious, like you just ask the question and move on. For me at least, I
Yep.
like to call myself a delayed genius because I will ask a question, I'll forget about it, and then I'll remember the answer and it'll automatically bring up the question. Yeah. So when you stop asking yourself why me, stop asking yourself why did this happen to me.
Yep.
You could say why not me, why did this happen for me, yada yada yada, because I romanticized my life before the stroke. All right, I for the 2.5 years that I was miserable, I lived in the past. Like I said, oh, my life before the stroke was so good, yada yada yada, I could yada yada yada. And then I realized, like after I started like working on myself, improving my health and who I am, I realized that my life before the stroke was shit. It was good on the outside. From the outside looking in, I was a college soccer athlete, very fit, very smart. However, I was a
Yeah.
fucking mess. I was a mess.
Yeah.
Loathe was like watched. I was addicted to porn. Watched that every day for over a decade. Video games, drinking, partying, smoking, um, and that intensified after I had the stroke for the 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Casual encounters with girls off of dating apps, yada yada yada. And then I finally went inside. I finally went internal. And the first thing
Yep.
I did was that dark quiet room method that I mentioned. And I like to say I have a holistic approach to stroke recovery because I really do focus on the whole individual, the spiritual, mental, physical,
I agree.
emotional, energetic, because the mainstream stroke recovery is all physical. It's
Yep.
exercises. It's like some of them focus on diet. However, it's like very, very, very like small stuff about diet, like avoid sugar or yada
You're,
yada. And
yeah, the normal stuff that we hear, but you go above and beyond, and you have done some research, and you are doing everything.
yeah,
You're not
absolutely.
just
So
blabbing, you are going through each step that you want your clients to go through.
yeah, so
So
I'll send you a video or a picture of a review that someone to my stroke recovery coaching group sent me, and you can add that to the description or to this video if you'd like.
will do.
Um,
I love it. Yes.
I took everything that I learned from Taylor, and I fell in love with learning about nutrition. Okay, and what I find funny is when I took a nutrition class for a semester in college, I learned nothing about this. It was all like macros and stuff. In order to really heal, you got to focus on the micros or the ingredients, as I call it.
Yeah.
And I have everything that I've learned after hiring Taylor for thousands of dollars, after spending hundreds of hours of research and trying things on myself.
Tristan,
Everything that I've learned is
Tristan,
in my.
Tristan, Tristan, I am so sorry, my love. My computer, my thing stopped, and now it's starting
Uh
again, and I don't know. Give me
huh.
a sec, okay?
You are completely fine.